Hello and welcome to our channel. If you are interested in becoming a counsellor in the UK, then you are in the right place. Today, we're going to talk about the five core counselling skills that are essential for anybody looking to make a difference in the world of counselling. These five skills are the most important ones that you will learn as a counsellor. Adopting them early on will ensure the safety of you and your clients, and it'll add great value to your portfolio of skills. By learning what they are and how to implement them early on, you will set yourself in great stead for the start of your counselling journey. So let's dive in. First skill we have is active listening. So, this involves not just hearing, but truly understanding what the client is saying. It is showing empathy, being fully present, and responding appropriately. So, in practice, this could be summarizing what the client has said, giving it back to them in their own words, and asking clarifying questions to make sure you really grasp what it is they're trying to say. But let's use an example. So, if a client is talking about a difficult relationship they have with a family member, it's not uncommon for people to get nervous, flustered, start talking very quickly, rushing a story, or stuttering. By actively listening, we can recognize and respond to this. So, ways that we could do that would be offering calm, non-verbal, and verbal forms of communication. So, this could be nodding, slightly leaning forward, offering gentle eye contact, instilling a sense of calm in the conversation. Another example could be if somebody is upset and talking about a difficult relationship that is containing a complex timeline of events or multiple people, we could offer empathy and acknowledge how complex that situation must be for them. We can repeat parts of the story back to them without emphasis or bias, just to make sure we've understood them correctly. An additional point here is that sometimes by hearing their story be told back to them by a third party, that can offer a really nice change. They might be able to see the situation from a different point of view, or maybe just add some clarity just because it's been told to them by somebody else. Active listening is one of those skills that is so important for building trust. It can ensure that the client knows that their story is heard and therefore valued. Our second skill is empathy, but let's unpack this a little bit because we hear this term get thrown around a lot. So, in this context, empathy could be trying to put yourselves into your client's shoes to understand their emotions and see their experiences from their point of view. This is one of those skills that can be really vital for building that rapport between you and the client. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to agree with everything they say, but rather acknowledge their experience and offer them compassion and understanding. Some people will argue that empathy is the most important skill that a counselor needs. It's often a trait that draws people into these roles. So, chances are, if you're considering a career in counselling, you might already have developed very strong ability in having and creating and showing empathy to other people. But this is a capability that is evergreen and it can always be worked on. Because of how important empathy is, it is firmly stressed in our CPCAB Level 2 counselling qualification, which is the first qualification that you would need in order to become a counsellor. Our CPCAB Level 2 course brings everything back to empathy because it truly is at the heart of counselling. You will engage in eye opening conversations, learn to work with diversity and difference, and maybe even uncover biases that you may have. It's about learning to set those aside and truly notice and appreciate the needs of others rather than ourselves. Our third skill is effective questioning. Effective questioning is the ability to offer open ended questions that kind of encourage the client to explore their feelings and emotions on a deeper level. Doing this can really help clients potentially gain a new understanding of their situation. So, for example, instead of asking, "Did you feel sad?" you might ask, "How did you feel about the situation? How did it affect you?" And that can offer the client more space to open up a conversation that can harbor a level of deeper understanding. Fourth skill is setting professional boundaries. This is so important for harboring a safe and respectful environment for both you and your clients. This can be an umbrella term and it can contain a lot of different variables and factors. But as a brief overview, it could mean being clear about the limits of the therapeutic relationship, making sure that we avoid those dual relationships and conflicts of interest. And it also means ensuring that the client's needs are at the focus of the work at all times. Let's unpack this and talk about that a little bit. So, it's a bit of a grey and subjective area, but the baseline code of ethics in therapy is that a counsellor shouldn't really see their client if they can't remain objective. And this could be for a few reasons. For example, imagine you want to see a client that you actually know outside of work as maybe a friend or a family member. A lot of people would argue that this wouldn't work because you couldn't remain unbiased, and that could make it very difficult to set those professional boundaries. Another really good example here is that you have two different clients that actually know each other outside of therapy. So maybe they're in a relationship or they're friends and family members. Technically, this is allowed, and some people might even advocate for it, but it can create these murky waters in the example that they end up talking to you about each other or seeking therapy because of their relationship. That could, in theory, make it quite hard to remain unbiased and objective. An obvious example here as well of what would not be allowed is this dual relationship between a counselor and a client, perhaps of a romantic interest. That obviously wouldn't be ethical and it wouldn't be allowed. Making sure that we create these adaptive and comforting deliveries of counseling is very, very important for maintaining good ethics in everyone's work. And lastly, our final skill, number five, is self awareness. This is the ability to understand your own emotions, biases, and reactions. It's also crucial for remaining objective as it can help you manage your response to a client. This all comes back to frequent self reflection and supervision, because that can make sure that your personal issues never interfere with the work with a client. I'd say there are three key reasons why self awareness is crucial for counselors. So let's quickly touch on them. Firstly, I'd say it's all about uncovering biases and assumptions. Making sure that we recognize these can ensure that we don't damage the therapeutic process or hurt your objectivity. Then managing your emotions. Counseling is an emotional job by nature. Making sure that you understand your own emotional triggers can reduce the chances that you ever get upset during a session. And then ethical practice. So, having that self awareness can ensure that counselors know when they might be working outside of their professional boundaries or having any personal issues that may affect their professional judgment. So, to quickly recap, the five core counseling skills that we discussed were active listening, empathy, effective questioning, professional boundaries, and self awareness. Mastering these skills, or at least becoming familiar with them early on, can greatly enhance your effectiveness as a counsellor. If you're interested in becoming a counsellor in the UK, make sure you check out the Astranti Connect website for our CPCAB Level 2 course in counselling skills. This is the first qualification that you would need to become a counsellor in the UK. All of our CPCAB courses are formally recognised by the BACP, which is the UK's leading membership body for counselling, and we have many study hubs across the UK, and you can also access content online. If you found this video helpful, please give us a like, subscribe, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you never miss out on future content. And if you have any comments or questions, pop them in the comments, and we will see you next time.